One of the common complaints you get from employers is around the unreliability of the people they recruit. They don't have the professional skills and they lack the commitment that is needed to ensure that they are successful on their job. But if this represents most of the people in the job market in the country, what do you do as an employer? That's the big question we're considering today on the show. It's the JAB Show. As usual, we're providing for you the platform to help you to unleash your life, your career, and your business. I'm Joe Abbas, and this is the JAB Show. Don't forget the JAB Show is powered by Life by Design and its partners, AfriCell, RC Bank, AYV Media, Empire, Chicken Town, Sweet You Life, Sweet You Want, and Inky Media. My guest today on the show, I should say, and I will say, it's no stranger to Life by Design, no stranger to the show. He's been here before, and he is the managing director for Grow Salone, and his name is Monsieur Marcus Smith. Marcus, welcome once again to the show.
Thank you very much.
What a joy, what a beauty to have you come back to our country. You're just back, you're back from holiday.
Yeah, I've been on holiday for a few weeks.
And no sooner you came before Britain said Sierra Leone was a no-go area.
Exactly. And, no-fly zone.
No-fly zone. You still want to change your mind and go back to the UK?
I'm just glad I got back before they changed it.
Now, it's a beauty. One of the things we shared the last time you were on the show, we talked about Grow Salone. You've been here in Sierra Leone for 3-4 years? How long have you been here?
Full-time for 3.5 years and on and off since 2015.
Full-time for 3.5 years. You know places in Sierra Leone that a lot of Sierra Leoneans don't know, and you've been to places, and but you got caught up in professional skills development and education, and which landed you in Grow Salone. There's something you're passionate about, and we talked about on the top of the show. And that's what we want to just move these discussions further down. Employers complain a lot. It's common. They lack these professional skills that are required to be able to do the job for the people they recruit. They don't have the skills and that are required to be able to deliver, and they lack the attitude. They're not committed enough to be able to do this job. One of the things Grow Salone does is to help both the employers and the job seekers, those graduates, those people who are from school, to be able to make sure there's that match. And so that's what we want to talk about today on the show. Let's break down a few of the things that employers are normally frustrated about. Mm-hmm. The first one, a lack of commitment to the role or to the organization. How does this manifest? Obviously, if employers are talking to me, they're also talking to you. I'm an employer, and I every once in a while look for jobs, and people come through me to help in recruiting people. Mm-hmm. That's a major issue. How big is that issue in terms of people not tied into the role, no commitment to the role or to the organization? How big is that?
So I think it's quite common is that young people, I don't blame those young people, but maybe through a lack of exposure or through a lack of research, they've maybe found themselves in a role they really don't know too much about. And so they kind of go to the office and they realize that their day-to-day function is not what they expected it to be. And so, if you're going to work every day or spending 8, 9, 10 hours in your office and you're not enjoying what you're doing, it's pretty natural that you're not going to perform very well. Or maybe after a period of time, you will not be kind of putting forward your best self in that role.
And why would somebody take a job, sign up for it, attend an interview for a job, accept a job offer that says if you sign on the dotted line here that you accept the offer we've given you, how can they take the job and then go back now not be interested and not sure whether they want that job?
So I think there's a kind of a cause and effect of it about how it can happen. So I think firstly, when people are recruiting for entry-level staff, particularly junior staff, they are maybe not they're not paying enough attention, or they're not introducing the right processes when they're making that recruitment decision. And so even if they are junior positions, really you should be recruiting people right for the future. You should be recruiting people who you see a huge opportunity in and who you want to invest in their growth. Now, the other part is that I think the individuals who are going for those roles, maybe they are not coming in prepared. You know, there is, we discussed this a little bit earlier, is that there is a, you know, kind of a fight for survival. And as a young person...
So the first job is just, give me any job. People talk to you every day and say, what kind of job do you want? Say anything. Give me any job I'm able to do, because you can say it's a fight for survival.
And you know what?
Who cares?
But there's nothing wrong with trying things that you don't necessarily, you're not sure about. But what you cannot really forgive is not knowing what it's about, because that information is available.
So you're saying you could push for any job, but you still have the responsibility to be sure you know what that role is about.
Yeah, of course. You should be able to conduct research. You can look on the internet. There's a huge wealth of resources. And if you can't find anything about that, you should be able to find professionals that are in Sierra Leone that you can talk to understand what their job entails. So at least when you turn up on your first day, you kind of know what you're going to be getting into. Turning up and not knowing exactly what, or not knowing generally the role, that is where the challenges become.
Another point we talked about is the fact that people's academics are not aligned to their interests and their strengths.
Yeah, so this is something that I have...
And they're already down the way there. They already have a certificate in their hands, yeah. But those certificates are not aligned to their interests and their strengths. How important is this?
So I would say it's very important, but it's not the only thing that's important, right? Is that, from my perspective, that accreditation, a university degree, a national diploma, any other vocational course or training program, it indicates, one, an interest in a subject, and it shows that you have been able to apply yourself and you have been able to achieve a certain goal.
Right.
Now, just because I might have an applied accounting degree, maybe I realize that actually I really don't enjoy accounting. And so it's okay to say, actually, you know, I have this applied accounting degree. This will demonstrate to future employers that, yes, I am good with numbers. Yes, I can do some bookkeeping. Yes, maybe in the future I would like to be an accounting professional. But actually, if you say, I really prefer using my numerical understanding and working in a monitoring and evaluation department or in a kind of a business insights department, then that is also a fine, that's a fine route to take.
So it's either about strengths and interests and find out how those align with this job that you're now going to do. And another point you made is that even if you get to the point where you don't have this alignment, you could actually dig in and say, this is the job I have for now. Mm-hmm. You could still drive commitment in that job, in that assignment, irrespective of whatever else, whatever misgivings you have, you know, or mismatch of expectations.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I think is most valuable for young people or entry-level staff to really learn, is that, you know, when you're starting your career, it's not supposed to be easy. Mm-hmm. Things are not just gonna come to you really kind of very, very easily. You have to fight, and things are gonna be tough, and you're gonna make mistakes, and your employers expect you to make mistakes. So when you end up in your first job, it's not gonna be a picture book. It's not gonna be how you've always dreamed your career to end out. And really what you need to show in the particularly first 6 months, first 1 year, is resolve. If you can show to your employer, to your manager, that you have the strength to really stick the role out, then maybe you can demonstrate to them that, yeah, okay, fine, maybe you're not suited to that role, but that is the right personality that they want to keep around. And then you have an opportunity
so they could actually move you somewhere else because, okay, so the personality is more important because you could fit into various other roles other than the one that you go in. So the first one, they're not committed, and lack of commitment comes from not aligned. They didn't research enough about the job. They didn't know much more about the job. And employers also, the third point, they lack the skills and basic skills and behavior, and attitude that are required for the job. We're talking about gaps in expectations from employers. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, you know, my experience with working with all different types of employees all around the world is that there is not a problem when the performance delivery and the expectation is met. Also, if the employer sees that an employee is at a certain level and the employee sees that they are at the same level, that is not a problem. because whether that be excellent or needs improvement, they're both aligned with how they see the performance. It's when an employee thinks that they are performing very well and the employer thinks that they are not performing very well, that's when you start to see challenges in that relationship.
When there's mismatch.
When there is a mismatch.
The third major point you mentioned is about skills, behavior, and attitude. And if you break this down, they would include you're not reliable. You know, in the workplace, employers say they're not reliable, they have the wrong attitude, wrong body language, they lack initiative. Talk about these three.
Yeah, so these are some of the common complaints that employers have with, I mean, lots of staff, particularly entry-level staff, is that they do not come with the right kind of mindset into the role, or into the workplace. Now my experience is just that they've not really had an opportunity to develop these skills. They've not really understood what they are supposed to demonstrate in the workplace. And now that's from a whole ream of different things. That's, not accessing, not watching the JAB show enough.
Yeah, right.
That's could be not having the right role models. That might be not having experienced it through different types of media. Those sorts of things where they haven't had those professional expectations set. Some of them are a little bit more technical skills, things like problem-solving skills is really something you learn when you're in your educational system, which we spoke about last time that I was on the show, is that the educational system is not always setting people up to be kind of problem solvers and initiative takers. But these are all skills that you can develop as you go through your career. And that's the absolute benefit of being an experienced professional. Now, one of the things that is the challenges, and this is hopefully one of the things we'll talk about today, is that there is a kind of an irony, there is a challenge for employers in that the junior staff are the people who require the most management. They need the most development, they need the most effort. But oftentimes, the work that they are doing is the things that the managers can only spend the least time on. And so allowing a manager or a business owner or whoever it might be who's overseeing these junior staff, making sure that they have enough time to develop those young people through the tasks that they are being expected to conduct. That's the biggest challenge. Because actually it's not about the potential of the individual, but it's about the performance management, it's about the guidance, it's about the support that they are provided in the early stages of their career. And so when we speak to employment partners, our clients, they say, well, how am I supposed to manage these? I have 50 junior staff members working under me. How am I supposed to support them? And actually, they're the people who need the most support, almost. And so that's kind of where we try and fit
And so those are the people you have the least time for, but would demand the most time from you to be able to make sure they are developed. And in circumstances where majority of the people who would walk to your door would have the same capabilities, you cannot but develop the capacity as an organization, as an employer, to be able to make sure you could spend time to mentor this guy, right or wrong?
Yeah, no, it's a major challenge to make sure you can. Some organizations do it better than others, and it really depends on the strength of your management structure and how your organization is set up.
How much of it is actually their fault, or how much of it is not really their fault?
I don't like to say it's anyone's fault.
Okay.
It's not people's fault. It's only your fault if you come with the wrong attitude. That is the only thing that you really have control about.
Okay. His name is Marcus Smith. He's the managing director for Grow Salone. Stay with us. Don't go away. When we come back, we want to be able to share how Grow Salone can help you, the organization, on the other side of this equation.